Andrew, if I could offer a view, the New South Wales Digital Strategy we obviously have the state infrastructure strategy, but we also have the digital infrastructure strategy, and there's also the Digital Restart Fund. But when thinking about infrastructure, it really isn't just roads versus something like telecoms equipment, which is really digital infrastructure. The Opal car tap on, tap off on the buses is actually part of digital infrastructure, and it allows route replanning and route optimisation as people start to come back to work. It will help us actually deliver the service of transport much more effectively. Dial it up to the infrastructure that we have relied on absolutely the most is not roads. We still need roads, of course, and it's not even the infrastructure that we have with buildings. It's the digital infrastructure. Without the digital infrastructure, the NBN, the telecoms infrastructure, all of the bits of equipment.
The 5G network, as it's...
The 5G network, without all of those things, we could not have survived what we've just gone through, or it would have been a very, very different experience. So digital infrastructure can make us incredibly productive, but it isn't black or white. There's actually a real spectrum of capabilities where you can make bricks and steel really much more smart, and you can also make service delivery much, much more effective by using digital infrastructure.
I think to some degree we don't need to build everything from scratch, like the Opal card is a perfect example. We quickly fast-forwarded to just using our credit cards, and that was a piece of infrastructure we probably didn't need to invest in. So we really need to take a longer-term view of what are the needs of our communities and our society and the people, and how we're going to live and where we're going to commute from and are we going to work from home, etc., and kind of stitch together what we already have, but also create new technology that will enable that.
Picking up on some of the points, as we start to emerge out of where we're at, restrictions start to be eased. We've still got some challenges about how people move around. And the other thing is too, everyone's done a great job of working together through this crisis in terms of the Australian public across the country. But I'll tell you one thing, you've got to look at the way that people are going to react out of this. What's the emotive response? And if we've got more congested roads and people can't use public transport the way they want to, and moving around the city, not everyone can afford necessarily to hop on and be hit with a toll, going back and forth when they used to move around the city a lot cheaper on public transport. There's going to be, I think the pressure is going to be on to do things quicker. Like we're going to have to find ways. There'll be problems of how do we get things done quicker, either moving people quicker, doing things differently quicker, being a lot more efficient in that, not having hold-ups, not being frustrated that the world that we once used to navigate, that's gone. And it really has for a long period of time until we get a vaccine. Like we are forced now to work completely differently, and removing friction and frustration, that will be the challenge, and how we do it with smart people thinking about that, that's the perfect space for people in the tech sector to be in.
Yeah. So let's go to removing friction, the vision for 5G, and how does that underpin smart services, livable cities?
You don't get a smart city without the ability to connect the different sensors and the different actuators and the different optimisation scenarios. So when you plug a bit of cable or plug a bit of fibre into a box, that's where you've got connectivity. The moment that can go into the world of wireless, you've got connectivity everywhere that wireless touches. And over the course of the years, we've been moving up the Gs. We get a G every 10 years. It's a bit like Moore's Law. And we've got 5G now, 6G is being planned. It'll be ready 2030. What we get every single time is more coverage, more capacity, but importantly with 5G we're talking about latency, guaranteed delivery, and so reliability. And that means that all of a sudden we're not just talking about internet downloads or people talking to each other. You can actually control a machine with a guaranteed delivery of that packet, that command to turn left, that command to turn right, and it gets delivered within a guaranteed period of time. And depending on how tight those get over time, you can start to think about controlling ag. We talked about ag a little while ago, where the need to increase productivity in ag tech is ever increasing, growing population, urbanising population, and the need to grow food in a changing climate. The ability or the need, the essential need to increase productivity by using ag tech controlled remotely or optimised remotely is something absolutely fundamental. So 5G's got a lot of really big things coming in it, but they're the sort of things that human beings who typically care about headline data rates and how many megabits or soon gigabits per second I can download, they're not really human-directed capabilities. They're not really human-directed features. They're directed towards Internet of Things, little sensors and big sensors out in the field for days, weeks, months or years, and controlling equipment safely.